Alright, we now go to Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. The sequel came out in 1995 and sees Steven Seagal return as Casey Ryback. This time, he is with his niece, played by Katherine Heigl. They're on a train that has been abducted by these terrorists. Well, it's Die Hard 2. Well, yeah, that was a plane, but you know what I mean. This time it's a train, and this time there's more at stake. There's his niece, there's a bunch of passengers, well, there was a bunch of people on that boat, but it's all about these bad guys getting a hold of this this government satellite that they're going to use to destroy Washington. The president, go after the president. Okay. Now, I didn't think this movie was too bad. I thought it was somewhat on par with the first one, apart from just a couple little things. One, being on a train is, to me, a little less of a threat than being on a boat. A boat can't go anywhere, right? On a boat, you're stranded in the middle of the ocean. Or a ship, you're stranded in the middle of the ocean. Here, as we see in the film, Seagal does get off the train at some point, and he's able to move around and get back on the train eventually. So you can get off the train and move around. That's different to where you're on a ship, you're in the middle of the ocean. You get off, you're stuck in the water. You can get hit by a shark or a whale or something. Here on a train, it's a little less of a dire situation. I mean, it's a dire situation because now it's up to Casey Ryback to save all these passengers and his niece. He mentions that his brother died. He wasn't able to go to the funeral. And so he picks up his niece. Doesn't remember what she looks like. Picks her up. They go to, they get on the train, and then stuff happens. So, like I said, there's only a couple of things. The setting, train is a little less of a dangerous situation than being on a ship. Because a ship is in the middle of the ocean. That's it. And the second is the villains. What did we have in the first film? Gary Busey, Colm Meaney, Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones is a very, flamboyant actor. He's very out there. He's, very going. Gary Busey is nuts as hell. Just like woman, whatever. Colm Meaney, very stern. Here we have Eric Bogosian, Dorian Tyrell from The Mask, and some guy who I don't even know who he is. That's it. And Bogosian's not half of the villain that Tommy Lee Jones was. I'm sorry. He's sort of the Tommy Lee Jones of this, as he's kind of concocted this. And you could say that Dorian Tyrell, I don't know his real name. Maybe I'll recognize it. No. We also have a young Morris Chestnut in this, and he ends up being Seagal's backup in all this. And he actually does a pretty good job. In the end, I really did enjoy this film. The action, the explosions, all that stuff, on par with the original. And at the end, when they go to visit his brother's grave, he finally wears the whites. He finally wears the uniform, which was mentioned in the first one. This is why he wasn't wearing it. He said he never wears it, but for his brother, I guess he will. Yeah, so it's all about this government satellite that Bogosian is hacking into to use to target Washington. He puts up a bunch of false satellites to, fake satellite things for him to try to, go after, and they don't succeed in it, but Ryback, Seagal saves the day, of course. Not very much to say about this one. Action-packed, explosions, basic thing. Matt Reeves wrote this, produced by Steven Seagal. Steve Perry. Like Journey Steve Perry? I doubt it. And this was directed by Jeff Murphy. And they do mention that he's a cook. He's trying to cook something for his niece. I don't know what it was. But, you know, the stuff happens before he's able to use it and to give it to her. But another thing that was toned down in this, there's violence and there's language, no nudity. Like, there's a scene where this guy and this, this man and this woman, they're about to get it on, and it cuts, and it comes back, and they're just covered up, and they don't show anything. And then there's the scene where Seagal is in the bathroom, and one of the terrorists comes in, opens it up, and the lady's like, my bra is broken, and she shows her cleavage or whatever, and he's like, a tits to kill or something like that. Something like that. A tits to die for or something like that. And it's like, with the nudity from the first one, which was Erika Olenek, of course. See, that's another thing that kind of bogs this down, is there was a love interest in the first one that he was with. It was kind of his backup as well. Here, it's his niece. So there's no love interest to speak of. It's his niece he's trying to say, which you would go after family more than you would. Well, I suppose if it was his wife. If this is a woman that he just first met for the first time in the first film. She's not in this, of course, but... And the villains aren't as exciting as the first one. I told you that already, but... No. Not much to say, really. But I did enjoy it, much like the first one. It's just not as good. So, I'm going to give Under Siege 2 Dark Territory a 7 out of 10. Still kind of good, but we'll leave it at that. So what are your thoughts on Under Siege 2 Dark Territory? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.